Okay, rulers, settle down. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons. Thank you for your support. Class is in session. Hey there, rulers. Welcome to Ruler School. Today, we have been given not one, not two, but 3 base rare spoilers exclusive for the channel to show off today. And I am joined by Paul.
Hello.
So we're going to give our impressions. We're going to start off, this is all Cthulhu support, and we're going to start off with this spell, Wolfgang's Apocalypse. 1 blue, 1 black, quick cast. Your opponent banishes the Resonator. Put the top X cards of your deck into the graveyard, where X is the cost of the Resonator banished. And then if you awakened it, you can play up to 2 Cthulhu from your graveyard without paying their cost until the end of the turn. And if you do, at the next end of the turn, the controller banishes them. And then the awakening is 1 red, 1 black. Keep in mind, this is not a Cthulhu chant, so you will have to pay the full 4. Just to give you the heads up. Paul, what are your thoughts on this?
So I think this is an interesting card in the sense that it makes your opponent neg at quick cast speed, and then it puts up 2 blockers on their turn. Or if you want to be proactive with it, you can bring out some stuff. I don't know if we're getting any Swiftness Cthulhus, but if we do, I think of Cthulhu potentially. Then I think this is a really cool endgame card too. So it's really interesting how you can use this card in multiple ways. The Awakening is a little high, but I think that's what makes it a mid to late game card for me, and using it for ending the game is kind of interesting in my head.
Yeah, this is really cool because Yog-Sothoth, I believe it's Yog-Sothoth, is the one that gives all of your Cthulhu's swiftness while he's on field. So the idea of like having him and then in the late game casting this out, throwing out 2 free Cthulhu attackers that can suddenly push through for a ton of damage as like a nice little mid to late game closer, I think is pretty cool. And it's also, a removal spell, which is pretty nice, and forcing sacrifices is always good. Next up, we have Wolfgang's book, the Necronomicon, Book of the Outer World. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 black. You can pay 1 blue and 1 red less to play this card if your ruler is Wolfgang. If you do, you get a madness counter, though, so it automatically takes one of those, which, if you're playing it on turn 1, you probably don't care. And the non-J/Resonator entities your opponents control lose all enter abilities. So this is essentially additions and regalia. Not that any of our regalia currently have enters, but additions is a big hit to like steal their enter effects. And then Cthulhu's you control gain +4/+4. Paul?
So this is a passive buff for all of your Cthulhus, and they're already pretty big. So when you're able to just throw them on the board with their awakening costs, not only are you getting this huge body, but now it's even bigger. And then I saw a couple of spoilers today. Spoilers, we just got the Darkness spoilers from Portugal, so I know that there is an addition that removes a 2-cost or less Resonator. So like having this card to prevent that from actually happening is kind of nice. We don't know what other kinds of additions we're going to have that do enter effects, but I think they're super interesting that we're just removing all additions and regalia effects from triggering on upon enter. Plus, if you just want to play this, I mean, it's a 1-drop, your opponent doesn't get effects, and you get huge Resonators from the get-go. So it's a pretty gas card, in my opinion. 1 or 2 of in the main, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. One thing to also know is when we talk about regalia, like the rulers will still get to trigger their regalia effects because it's the ruler ability.
Correct.
But, if we had regalia that had, like, when this regalia enters the field, enter effect, this would stop them from doing it. So mostly this is to hit additions, but additions have showed themselves to be more and more powerful over time in this cluster, so I'm glad we have something to kind of counter it. And then lastly, we have our boy Umir Ott-to-Will, Keymaster of Outer World, looking like a boss. Oof. 1 red, 1 blue, 1 black, 8/8 Resonator. You can remove him from your hand to produce 1 red, 1 blue, or 1 black, and spend this will only to play Cthulhu cards. And you can play this card from the RFG area, which is nice. We haven't seen that in a while. Yeah. With an awakening for 3 more to enter. Put target Resonator from your opponent's graveyard into the field under your control. That is awesome.
That's very Umir-esque. Very powerful effect. The idea that I can kill something with my removal spell and then just bring it back for 3 will. By the way, if you just want to pay the awakening with Wolfgang, you can. So you get a 3-will, 8/8 body that you can play at any time. Also, you can just steal your opponent's resonator, so you're getting this huge, huge body. 8/8, pretty decent on curve, but you're also getting your opponent's resonator, so you can mess with their graveyard. You can get a big body for game. It's kind of nice, especially in the mirror match.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. These Cthulhu cards are sweet. They feel so much different in flavor than anything that we've seen out of the 6 Stages support suite, so I'm very excited to have that very different feel when playing Wolfgang. And I, like I said, I think it's curve stat-wise. A really neat early game effect, so he's not completely dead in your opening hand. A lot of value. You know, the idea of, you know, you're not really losing him if you use him to produce will, I think is really nice. And then, yeah, you can't ever argue with, like, stealing your opponent's bomb out of the graveyard. That's potentially pretty awesome. So, overall, very sweet cards. Happy and grateful for being able to show you guys these. Let us know what your thoughts are about Wolfgang and his support down below, or which of the 6 stage combinations you're currently looking most forward to trying out. And until next time, this is Jeremy and Paul saying class dismissed.
Later, guys.